Hey everybody, I'm a little bit late, but we are always on time with the information. So, welcome to week 11 of Raising Confident Kids, turning progress into, or no, turning goals and tracking progress. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy that you are here. We are turning plans into progress today because we've already talked about having a conference with parents. We've talked about how to set goals with your child. And we've also talked about how to understand the baseline data and grades. If you're in my district, then you have report cards coming out really soon. So now we need to turn these plans into progress. And I'm going to give you some simple tips. I know everybody's busy. We need to make sure that we're keeping our kids on track, but also not wasting too much time. So let's get right to it. So last week we learned how to have powerful parent teacher conferences. But what happens next? How to make sure that what we actually discussed turns into progress at home and at school, because we talked about how you should go in there with questions, not just how's my child doing in class, but how can I support my child in the classroom? What can I do at home to help my child better in the classroom? What are specific things and resources I need to employ at home so that we can make sure that we're meeting my child's goals? So, you're the glue holding your family together. So, we need to make progress tracking something everybody can do. And we want to make sure that we set up things that children can do as well as parents. Y'all, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. Okay, so research shows that when parents check in regularly, just 10 to 15 minutes a week, children are more likely to meet their goals and show stronger self confidence in school. And as you all know, I am all about confidence. And actually, I have my own tagline, PeTika Tave, bridging the gap between confidence and success. And that's why I'm here. So, if we know the research shows that building confidence helps the children, then we need to do everything we can to build that confidence in reading, confidence in themselves, confidence in peer relationships, knowing that they have what it takes to do what needs to be done. Hey, Heather. So, here's the thing, we need three simple steps. As always, I give you three simple steps. Create a simple system. Do your weekly check-ins. So by now you should be having daily, how was lunch today? Who did you sit with in resource? What was the best part of your day? What was something you would change about your day? Now, let's turn that into something different. What's something you learned this week? What's something you're proud of? What's one thing you want to get better at next week? Again, these open-ended questions to have conversations. We want to make sure we're reviewing and reflecting together. So you have their goals pasted on the refrigerator. You have their goals pasted on the mirrors in the rooms. We got to make sure we look at it, we revisit them, because goals without checking the progress mean nothing. Have some milestones set up in there. In fact, I'm in this program right now. They have us having goals with milestones to help us make sure we're reaching the goals. And then within the milestones, different projects to help us reach those milestones. So we need to have a step by step system to make sure that the children are able to get where they're going. Thank you so much. I love that you I hope this helps as well. So we want to make sure that they own the goal, that we didn't tell them what to do, but we're helping them get to what they said they want to do. And then finally, celebrate progress, not perfection. You guys, that is so important. Our children don't have to be perfect. And if you have a child that excels and that is successful, that's great. It's a blessing. But we also want to make sure we're not letting them just stay in the wayside. Push them. We actually had a conversation about that today. Well, if you have students that are performing on or above grade level, we don't want to stagnate them. We want to motivate them to do even more, challenge themselves, push harder. So that's something that's really important. So, for example, let's talk about the goal tracker. So maybe you set a goal with your lower performer, or not lower performer, but your child that has some significant strides to overcome, and your children that have great grades. Maybe some your children have straight A's. They still need a goal. They still need something to work towards, or school becomes boring, rote, or just redundant. So just say, okay, we got our goal tracker. What are you going to work on this week? What are you proud of? What are you wanting to accomplish towards your goal? Okay. Have these trackers visible so that children can see their progress towards goal. Kind of like us as adults. If you're trying to save for a goal, you want to see that that money is adding up. Okay. You don't want to be like, oh, I think I have $2,000 in the bank. No, I want to see 500, 1,000, or $5, $10, $20, whatever that is. So we want to make sure we are proud of what we're working on and that they can actually see it visual. All right, then make sure when we're doing things like driving home from school, we want to make sure that we check in. Keep it short, keep it consistent and encouraging, but make sure we do it. We want to make sure if your child's motivation drops, go back to week 7. Hey, what happened, you guys? We were working towards this. You were doing good. What's happening? And then with report cards coming out, if for whatever reason they didn't meet their goal, revisit it. Okay, what do we do? What do we need to do differently? What other supports do we need in place to make sure that you can continue to progress, to continue to get where you're trying to be? Okay, and we want to share wins. Remember, we talked about not making everything about if you do this, you do that, but build that intrinsic motivation, that self pride. I got a great report about, I was out last week for a day, and some of the things that I've built in my students, one of the substitutes, that's actually a long story, but someone that was there with the children was like, oh my goodness, they were working each other. They were working together and holding each other accountable because they have a goal. And one of the goals is they want to be team of the week in the classroom and team member of the month. And so those are things I said, well, in order to do this, to get this distinction, you have to have these criteria met. So they were holding each other accountable because they want that pride. I didn't give them, I'm like, you're going to get a pizza party. No, I was like, you get to have bragging rights that you're the team of the week. And then guess what? You'll probably have high scores because you are doing the work that needs to be done to get to that academic goal that you set for yourself. Okay. So, parents, what's one way you keep your child motivated or track their growth at home? Drop your ideas in the comments. I love learning from you, and it can also help somebody else that comes and watches this video. What are some things you do to keep your child motivated? How often do you revisit their goals? Do you let them set goals or do you tell them their goals? Are we having those conversations with our children? Okay. So, as always, I'm going to keep it short and simple to the point. But if you have subscribed to my email list, then you will get a tip sheet tomorrow with those 3 tips to help you keep these conversations going. We have 5 more weeks left in the series. So we've done 11 weeks of actionable tips and 11. So it's 3 tips per week. So that's 33 tips to help make this school year the best ever. And next Monday, we'll talk about how to keep learning fun and meaningful even when school feels overwhelming. I'm gonna tell you, quarter 2 is a real culture shock because we're no longer doing review and introducing new things, in a gradual way. We are getting to the heart of the coursework for that grade level. So it's going to get tough. It's traditionally the most challenging quarter of the school year. So make sure you're incorporating these tips to help make sure your child is successful. Five Below. What happens at Five Below? Oh, you take your child to Five Below as a reward? Okay. So, I mean, if that's what works, that's what works. But also just keep continuing to build that intrinsic desire. How did you feel when you did well on that test? How did you feel? Not that they got an A, but what about if they went from a D to a C? How did it feel to overcome that obstacle and score a C? How did it feel to grow 10, 15 percentage points on your assignment? Those are the wins that we want to celebrate. I mean, we feel good too as adults when we do something like, hey, I lost them 2 pounds, even if it's point 0.2. Yeah, I did that. All right. So, anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. As always, please like, share, comment, forward this to people. Let them know that this resource exists so that they too can benefit with their child. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.